Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we work on the Z400. We try to get it ready for this coming weekend's race. And then we also work on the z450 so we can get that back to the owner. And then we work on this Honda Shadow a little bit. Alright, so a little history behind this Honda Shadow. It's a 1995 Honda 1100 ACE Shadow. It has 38,000 miles on it. I picked it up a few years ago for a few $100s. The guy I bought it from thought the motor was toast, so I went ahead and just started looking for a used motor. And then I got thinking over this past winter, what were the problems with these bikes, if there was any. Found out common problem was there's a plug that comes from the stator that goes into the wiring harness, and they were just not the greatest plugs, and they'd sit there and just jiggle on that and would melt. So this one had it. I cut it out, spliced it together, and that's good now. Fuel pump, replaced that. It was shot and put a new battery on. Ultrasonic cleaned the carburetors, rebuilt them, put them back on, and the bike will start and run now. And I've taken it up and down the road. I've actually put almost 28 miles, 27.9 miles on it since I've gotten it running. Today we're going to pull the spark plugs out, and we're going to put new spark plugs in. And this motorcycle has 4 spark plugs for 2 cylinders. I want to make sure that all the spark plugs are getting spark like they should. There's a slight hiccup on this bike, and it could be the carburetors might not be tuned like they should be, and I think the valves may need adjusted a little bit. But yeah, I'll start it up so you can hear it. It does run. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and check all the spark plugs, make sure they have spark like they should. And then I'll show you what I've done on the Z400, and we'll do some work on the z450. Went ahead and pulled the spark plugs out. Those are the new ones. And I turned the fuel pump off. I unplugged it. So we'll go ahead and see if we got spark. Perfect. Now we'll check the other side. So now we're on the other side, and we're going to go ahead and check to see if we got spark on these ones. Yep, perfect. Alright, time to put them back in and then start this thing up, let it warm up, see what it sounds like. Alright, we're going to start it now, see what it does. Actually sounds like it's running better than it was. Not bad. As you can tell, you can hear like a tick. I think it's coming from this front cylinder here. I'm kind of curious if this thing won't do a burnout. Due to we got some oil already here from changing oil in the truck. Let's see if they'll do a burnout. Alright, we're going to find out if this thing will do a burnout. Seems like she's running pretty good now. Might have been just a few spark plugs needed changed out. Obviously still needs some work done, but she'll definitely do a burnout. Alright, as you can tell, the Z400 is still torn apart, but we do have the flywheel off now because the flywheel puller that I ordered from Tusk had showed up and worked like it should. So now we got to replace that starter clutch or one-way bearing for the starter, which here, this one don't even move. It was pretty much on the way out. This is the new one here. So yep, we'll change those out, put that back on. Put the new gasket on and put that all back together. But if you look down here, you can see the oil's just sitting right there. So the way I have this bike sitting worked out perfect. Alright, so I brought the Z400 flywheel over here, put it in the vise. What I did was I clamped onto the old one-way bearing here. That way I wasn't clamping onto the flywheel at all. And then I took a number 5mm Allen and backed those off. They were torqued down pretty good, so I had to use a wrench to hook in here. That way I could get more leverage. But yeah, they come off and we're about ready to put the new one on. Alright, so I got the new one-way bearing installed onto the flywheel and reinstalled the flywheel to the crankshaft. This is the old one-way bearing and it was starting to get flat spots on these rollers here, so it was time to change it out. Also, there's sludge from years. I mean, this bike is about 18 years old and it hasn't had the easiest life. But yep, gonna go ahead and put the new gasket on, reinstall the stator and make sure everything's lined up, and then we'll set this quad down on the floor, start it up and make sure we don't have any leaks. Alright, so we're all back together and it's time to see if this thing will leak and if we fix the starting issue. It's the starter. Yeah, we're gonna order a new starter. Alright, so we found out the starter's actually what's going bad, which is fine because I can order one. If it doesn't show up in time, I can take the good one off the other bike and put it on this one. And the one-way bearing that we changed out, it was showing signs that it was going bad. So I'm not upset of changing that, and it puts a new seal on too. Also, this bike ran long enough that we can check and see, and there's no oil coming from there. So I say we're good. Alright guys, so we got the bike started up. Found out the starter's bad, but that's alright. I got a new one on the way. It's supposed to be here on Friday. If we don't show up on time, I can take one off the other bike and throw on here. But we got a few other parts we need to change, like wheel bearings. These things are absolutely shot. We're going to check the brake pads too, and if they need change, we have them. Top off any fluids, lube up the chain, grease up any joints. But let's get this thing ready for this weekend. Alright guys, so we've done everything that we can to the Z until the starter comes in. So let's move over to the YSZ. Alright, so what we have left to do on the YSZ 450 before we can take it for a test ride and make sure everything's all good is we need to change the front wheel bearings out. They're not horrible, but we're going to go ahead and do that. We're also going to adjust the shocks for him because he has quite bad towing going on. We also have front and rear brake pads to put on. I got to weld up the motor mounts, tighten these bolts up on the Nerf bar because those are loose. The other ones are good. Put the plastics on, air box, put that little plate for the battery to hold the battery in place, put that on, and then take the bike out for a test ride, adjust the carburetor that whatever way it needs to be, if we need to at all, and then we can give it back to the owner. Hey guys, the starter came in for the Z. This is the old one. Moving the shaft on, you can feel it's pretty worn out. New starter's on. This thing starts right up. So we don't need this hunk of junk anymore. But this video is getting pretty long, so we'll wait working on the YSZ 450 for the next one. But this bike's ready to rock and roll for this weekend's race. And hopefully I can get some good race footage for you guys, and this bike makes it all the way through. I did a little bit of testing, the bike's running good, shifting fine, and all that. Doesn't appear to have any leaks, so we should be good. But if you guys like this video, please hit that like button down below. If you guys want to see my last video, you can click over here. If you guys want to become a subscriber, you can click over here. And I'll catch you guys next time.